sweat already.
Yeah, it doesn't take much.
This podcasting is tough business.
You got to wear that new cologne that I got. The new
Ambassador?
aftershave Ambassador.
Yeah.
I didn't take the cracking guard out today.
Take a chisel to the spine. These pretzels are making me thirsty.
Yeah, indeed. So we're here again, Rich, right?
Ready to start this out?
Set it off.
Hey, everybody. This is our 5th podcast. I want to wish you all a good day. Hope you guys are having fun out there. Wanted to shout out to make 2 shout outs today. One to my friend Mark, who's so enamored by our podcast. His birthday was this past Sunday.
Oh, happy birthday, Mark.
And the other one, I want to shout out to our sponsors. I still haven't gotten any shirts yet. Extra large, 2 large. Come on, guys. You better get in on it quick because we get to the point where we're not going to want to take sponsors because we got too many.
They're probably in the mail. USPS is pretty messed up right now.
Yeah, okay, then I take that back. I'll wait.
Yeah.
So here we are, the 5th podcast, and we're going to start again as we usually start with the introduction to the beer of the week.
All right.
And today's choice, or today's person who's picking it, is Robert.
Yeah.
Baroni.
Let's see what you got.
Open up the paper bag, and we'll hand them out.
Ah.
What do we got?
Well, Allagash White.
Ooh.
Belgian-style wheat beer.
Yeah, I'll tell you why I never had this, and that's part of the reason I picked it. The biggest reason I picked it was it's a Belgian-style wheat beer.
Mm-hmm.
When I was a much younger man, I was backpacking through Europe, and while I was in Belgium, I stopped in Bruges, and I was there for about a week or so, and living at the hostel and all that stuff. And I'd learned that all of these towns, cities, everybody had their own brewery, and they took a lot of pride in their beer. And that's where I first had a Belgian-style wheat beer, and I liked it a lot. So I hope this lives up to it.
This would look good on shirts.
I've had this before. This is a good beer. It's been a long time, though.
I
Just
think
telling
it's
you,
brewed up in Maine.
Yeah.
Just you Allagashes. Nice
Brewed
shirts.
and bottled in Portland, Maine.
Well, cheers, gentlemen.
Cheers.
Follow.
Rouse your yeast. Pour Allagash White slowly, saving last inch of liquid in the bottle. Pour remaining yeast in bottle and pour into glass.
I should have.
That's
not
pretty
drank
good.
that.
That's pretty good.
Not bad.
Yeah. Cool.
Is the yeast going to make me crazy if it's on the bottom?
Good.
Can't make any guarantees.
Exactly.
Not outside the realm of possibility.
To go any more crazier.
There you go.
Well, here's another shout out to the week to our friend Owlhead for tipping us off to this line bore machine we picked up this week, the Red Baron. It's made by Ganymat in Germany or Austria, and it's what we were looking for. A nice little line bore machine, not to go crazy with all the holes for shelves and all that. We want to space them out a little bit differently so it doesn't look like there's 1,000 holes in the side of a cabinet.
That's the hinge boring too.
Yes, it does hinge boring.
Yeah, we're on the hunt.
Thank you very much, Owlhead.
Yeah, we're on the hunt, as a matter of fact, it has the hinge boring set up now, but it will take a 7-spindle line boring, so we're looking for that.
You don't have shirts yet, do you, Owlhead? Just asking.
You'd think Rich would come to work without a shirt on.
Yeah, no sleeves though. Make sure it has no sleeves.
I can cut those off. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, so thank you for that.
Yeah. So actually, we were yesterday. We took a trip out to Robbinsville, to a pre-auction viewing, I guess you would call it.
Inspection.
Yeah, a pre-auction inspection. There's actually an exhibit and set building company called Jack Morton that's going out of business, and they're selling the contents of this 150,000 square foot warehouse where they make sets for College Game Day, all kinds of TV shows, stuff like that. So they actually have 2 of these machines, and we're looking
got
at
our
maybe
fingers crossed.
Yeah, grab the one that has the line boring attachment because it's not a cheap accessory.
So any of you guys, you didn't hear us mention that name, so
don't
go on and bid on those machines.
Yeah, you bid us up, we'll come looking for you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's some good stuff though. So if you're in New Jersey or Pennsylvania, tri-state area, I would check it out because there's some stuff that's real cheap.
Oh yeah, if you're in the market for a unisaw, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had
Mitre saw.
4 table saws.
Yeah,
there.
about 4 table saws,
Drill press.
drill presses. I mean, full
No, nobody wants a drill press.
big
No.
time CNCs.
A lot of hand routers and things like that.
Yeah,
Tables full of them.
an entire table of extension cords
Yeah.
for $50 right now.
Yeah. There might be 1,000 pieces on that
Yeah,
table.
yeah. It was cool though. Nice to finally see an auction. You know, we look at them online pretty often, but usually they're in the Midwest or Pennsylvania, New York. Not a lot of manufacturing in New Jersey in general, I guess. Not woodworking type manufacturing. So to be able to actually go see one was a nice opportunity.
Plus, it was a road trip.
Yeah. Some trailers. They had exercise equipment, believe it or not.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a nice company. I mean, they had exercise equipment there because the folks at the company got to work out and play games, shoot hoops, throw the ball around inside the warehouse. It was so big. Yeah.
Good. So
All right.
that'll takes us now to the tool of the week. And it's Jeffrey's turn to pick out the tool.
All right. So I had a little difficulty trying to decide what I wanted to do, but this week I chose my 9mm Olfa knife, little snap-off knife, made in Japan. Nice and small. I like to use it as a marking knife because it's so thin, and when it's dull, I just snap the tip off, and I have a fresh one right there. It's long, so you can use it to scrape stuff. You know, it stays flush to the work. Doesn't take up a lot of space in the apron. It's light.
You know, if people aren't watching, is there anything you could do to describe it that differentiates it from like a regular kind of folding knife that we might carry?
Yeah, so in terms of size, it's only 3/8 inch wide. It's probably 3/16 of an inch thick and probably 5 inches long. So versus a regular utility knife, it's much smaller. And it weighs very little. You know, I'd say less than an ounce.
And anybody that's not familiar with the snap-off style of blade?
Yeah, so this is a blade with probably 15, 20 segments. And when your tip is dull, you just snap the tip off. You know, it's divided into about 1/4 inch sections, and you have a fresh tip. So, you know, in the palm of your hand, you have a really light, compact, well-made, made in Japan. You know, this is, I don't know if it's steel or aluminum, but it's all metal except for the little clip, you know, that you push on is made out of plastic. I've had this going for a couple years. It's great.
Yeah, it's very handy.
I don't feel the need to have a big utility knife in the shop.
Yeah.
That's more of a sight tool for me, cutting shims, stuff like that. But for the shop, this is great. Opening up boxes. Yeah, I mean, really use it for that a lot.
I know. Lot of boxes involved in running the business. It's crazy.
Even cutting, we don't work with edge banding a whole lot, but I had to make a little something for my own house yesterday, and trimming the edge banding, I use that. It's good for cutting tape. I mean, you use it more than you would think.
Right. Yeah.
So I like it. It's cheap, small, works well.
I like it too. And in fact, after seeing that, you converted me to a similar tool because I, for the longest time, used the Milwaukee, which was sort of that switchbladey kind of action utility knife. And they call that a lifetime tool because, you know, it's all steel and everything. But, and I used to love the one-hand action of flipping it open, and you get used to that, but it is a little bulky, and I think I prefer the snap-off style of blade. You know, instead of replacing that whole blade, you're really using the tip more than the meat of the blade in this instance. So I have an Olfa as well. It's a little bit bigger, but not much, and it's got like a plastic surround over the metal.
Same size blade, just a more
something to hold on to.
Ergonomic type handle.
Yeah.
What I like about this is, you know, if you have to cut Kaizen foam or something like that, we find ourselves cutting some thicker things that are still soft. batting for, we do the upholstery for the stuff in the church, stuff like that. You can with a fresh blade, you can extend this blade about 4 or 5 inches, so you can get a really deep and pretty straight cut with this knife.
Yeah, shout out to Olfa there.
Yeah, we have. I have one in my truck, a 1 inch.
Like most stuff, we have too many of
Like
them.
tape measures and knives and pencils. We have a lot of those. So
An embarrassing amount of stuff we won't admit to having.
I think the model. Actually, I see now. It says stainless steel, so it's all stainless steel aside from the little clip. And I think the model is a S9. I want to say, maybe for stainless.
Yeah,
but about $10-15.
Yeah, they're cheap.
Yeah,
they really are. I mean, inexpensive. I'm gonna say, not cheap.
No, yeah, well made. So check it out.
What do you think, Rich?
This is the first time I'm hearing about these blades. I don't have one.
Where you been?
I guess I've been locked away because I never knew you guys use these kind of blades. See, my bench is over there, not over here.
On the other side.
These
of the
two guys
track.
are over here. I'm on the other side of the tracks.
Me and Jeff are
So
bench
I don't
neighbors.
even have one of those. So now I'm jealous.
What kind of knife do you have?
I got the old Stanley.
You keep it in your
Oh
apron?
God,
I keep it in my apron. Yes, the
Yeah.
big one. That's the way I am,
I
man.
do think.
Well, I have a Stanley. I have a Stanley that I keep in the truck for install. It's a Stanley Titan, which has a. It actually is a. It's in a. What do they call it? A retractable knife. It's not a fixed blade, but it has a brass wheel where you can actually tighten down the blade and lock it. So, with
I
a
have
utility
one like
knife,
that, yeah.
if you're cutting like let's say drywall,
Yes.
the blade can actually get pushed back into the knife. With this, you cannot push it back into the knife.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to get one. I have to ask my wife if I can buy one.
Yeah.
To borrow money from her
You didn't
pension.
use up the allowance.
Yeah, she gives me an allowance. It's very strict too.
And by Thursdays, it's usually gone.
Yeah, now I can't buy the knife, even though it's only like a $15 knife. I can't buy it.
There's always next week.
Maybe I'll get it for my birthday, or Christmas, or Halloween. No, but it's a good knife. We were at the trade show, the KBIS show
Yeah.
in Vegas, and we met up with the people that sell that.
Well,
Yeah, they were supposed to send free knives. I got
Yeah, they
one,
didn't.
but you guys didn't, so
No.
I'm not sure what happened.
and it took about 3 months.
Oh, yeah, they said because of COVID, the supply chain.
Maybe
whatever.
my gloves are still going to come. Those
Yeah.
extra,
Yeah.
those gloves like the lady said she was going to give me for free.
Yeah.
That help my arthritis and all.
Yeah.
I guess I'm not getting that either for Christmas.
And my kayak.
That's That's another
That's another
story
story.
for another podcast.
We should talk about that though on a podcast
That's
about
true.
KBIS and
The adventures we had.
yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's a good tool.
Yeah.
I'm going to get one when I remember to get one.
A+.
All right. What's up next?
Well, we
Rich?
come to the petty gripe of the week.
Oh,
and
yeah.
again, you notice I don't have any gripes.
Yeah, this is my department. But I mean, this is almost. I mean, the other week we had a not so gripey gripe when we were talking about fall and how we all loved fall.
That was
and
2 weeks
everything.
ago.
Yeah.
Last week
Yeah.
was the Veritas mini square.
Yeah, that was a good gripe.
I'm still griping about that.
Yeah. And this one's not quite so petty. I think there's going to be a lot of people that hear this and they're going to go, yeah, you're right.
Yep.
So my petty gripe of the week, and it'll probably be for next week and the week after, even though I won't talk about it, are brad nailers, and especially the 23 gauge pin nailer that don't have a dry fire lockout. So
You want to explain to the audience
yeah,
what that
like
means?
when there's
me.
no more brads, no more little pins inside the magazine, when you have a lockout, it won't fire. And if you're out of pins and you just keep shooting, and those little brads, they're tiny. You don't even know if they're going in until you try moving the thing you think you're fastening.
Yeah, I think we've all sort of stitched something up and then went to move the piece, and then the piece you thought you were nailing just sort of falls off because
Yeah.
there were no nails.
I'd like to know really why so many, because I think it's more common than not that they don't have this, that the guns will just keep firing forever.
Yeah, and it's hit or miss with manufacturers because I've had, Hitachi nailers that have it and ones that don't, and Bostitch nailers that have it and ones that don't.
Yeah.
My Grex, I think, does have it.
Yeah, I think you're right. If I remember, like we saw the ad for those new Metabos,
Yep.
and they advertise that they have it, which it's a great feature. I wonder how much it costs to add this feature, because it's probably boils down to the cost of putting this piece in.
Right.
You agree with us?
Oh, I
Rich?
agree. I think that's a good idea. I've gone through that many times. Even though they have that little window on the bottom of the nailers there, you can see where how many brads you got. It's getting
Yeah.
close to the end, but you're not really paying attention. And I've done that a couple of times where I pinned about 5 pins, and then realized only one came out, and the rest of them
Right.
the rest of it was
Because
empty.
you're not always like on your bench
No.
and getting able to peer around to it. You might be going up overhead, putting on molding or something, and
And you don't want to think about that.
Yeah.
You're thinking about what you're doing. I don't want to have to think about how many nails are left in the nailer and
Right.
predicting, okay, it's going to be empty.
yeah,
I remember as a finish carpenter running baseboard, and you mark out your studs or you're pulling 16s, whatever, and you would pop in 2 nails and the piece would still be loose. Say, oh shit, I must have missed a stud. Throw in a couple more. Next thing you know, you have 10 holes
that's right.
in a 3-inch
Because it
space.
does make a dent in the wood.
You're going in either. Yeah, because the firing pin is just
Yeah.
going through and sticking into the wood. So in a 3-inch area, you have all these holes, and come to find out, you don't have
Yeah.
any nails. That's why it's not sticking to the wall.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I'm going to add on to this gripe. Now we have a few Porter cable guns, right? They're real finicky about how many nails you can put in there. So
Oh, the pin nailer you're talking about.
the pin nailer and the 18 gauge. So you'll try and like load it up right before it runs out.
We don't
so
have an
there's-
18 gauge Porter cable.
Yeah, we do.
No.
Oh yeah, we got rid of them.
We got
yeah.
Hitachi and
Yeah, because we got the bar stitch now. Yeah. Well, take this Porter cable. That's why we got rid of you. We try and circumvent this whole thing where we would load up the magazine before it ran out, but it only takes a certain amount. You can't overfill isn't the right term, but it'll really only take that full flip and maybe 2 other extra brads.
Yeah.
So it's you got to break off,
And
the
then
run.
you put in all these little broken pieces, and they fold up on top of each
Yeah,
other when you
yeah.
try and slide the magazine closed.
They're the worst.
Yeah.
They're the worst. All right. I think that's
But that was
enough,
it. That was a
that's
good
enough griping.
Yeah, that was a good gripe. I like that.
Yeah, we've been talking about that for a long time.
Yeah.
It just make them with the dry fire lockout. Come on.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
What's it cost? Pay the extra $10.
I would be curious to know how much it actually costs the company, because I would bet that consumers like ourselves, users, would pay double whatever it costs them. Because if it's a few dollars, we would easily pay $10 for it.
And if it's a pro tool, well, it should have it.
Yeah,
as far as I'm
yeah.
concerned.
Listeners, let us know how you feel.
Yeah. What gun do you have, and what does it have a dry fire?
Yeah.
Or do you do the old-fashioned way? You hammer and nails.
Yeah. Now, the guy I used to work for, we would nail everything off with a pneumatic nailer. We went back and we hand nailed everything
Yeah.
after the fact.
That's the good way.
So crown molding every piece of framing with a 3-inch finish
And then
nail.
you got to set all those nails.
Yeah. And hope you don't miss.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's painful.
Baseboard. It was rough. But they stick to the wall.
Yeah, and it's a good foundation for learning, how to do things the right
Oh,
way.
yeah.
Yeah.
Not a good way to make money, but
Well, we can't have everything.
that's true.
What do we got next?
Well, now we have the topic of the week. And it's funny, we were discussing this yesterday. We were trying to come up with a good idea, and it took us a while, but this is a really good topic I think people would appreciate. And it is, if you could use only one species, what would it be? Or what's your favorite species to use as a hardwood, softwood, when you're working, when you're building things?
I mean, what would be some of the reasons you'd pick a specific wood,
Yeah.
Rich?
Me, yeah. I personally, I go with corded white oak. I love the Craftsman era. I love the style. I love the look of the white oak with all the flecks and the rays in it. And it's a little bit difficult to work with as far as splintering and all that, but I just think it's a beautiful piece of furniture, a piece of wood to work with. I love the more figure to it, the better. And that's why I love it. I just love that whole I mean, worked on the church stuff that we did was all corded white oak, so it was a pleasure.
Yeah.
I like the smell of it too. As
Yeah.
freaky as that sounds.
Gets a funky smell. So.
Yeah, you know the difference between cutting white oak and cutting red oak.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
You know, there's some guys out there that are picking MDF right now. It doesn't count.
No, there's a guy.
Yeah.
There's a guy.
Not that
Tom.
not that fictitious Tom character.
In the air quotes. Tom in air quotes.
Isn't it made of a lot of different woods?
Yeah.
Yeah, a whole slew of different woods.
Yeah.
Well, what about you, Rob? What are you picking?
I'm gonna pick mahogany
Okay.
and like the old growth kind of mahogany that we really can't get much anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm only experienced with it because I happened to get a few slabs from an old woodworker who gifted them to me, of all things. And you know, it's for those that don't know, the mahogany that is used in all the furniture from the 1800s and such. Most of that stuff was all cut up and used because it was such a pleasure to work with, and it was really, really nice to make furniture from. And they decimated the forests.
Yep.
So nowadays we have all these substitutes. But he gave me these two short, maybe about 5-6 foot, 20-inch wide.
Wow.
Yeah, and about 2.25 inch thick slabs of mahogany. And I wound up making a bass for a friend of mine, and the guitar that I play most often, that's all real mahogany. And it was just so luxurious and easy to work. And, you know, I didn't get to be too choosy about picking the grain and everything. I had to use every inch of the wood that I could, you know, especially because the bodies have these odd shapes to them. But if I could get my hands on it, that would be my choice. I wouldn't want to be irresponsible about it as far as, you know, the ecology
Sustainability.
goes. So, but if it was available, that would be my choice.
I think I did see something about mahogany starting to come back out of Honduras.
Wow.
Ooh, that's be interesting. I
Yeah.
never knew that. I know it's been banned. Even African mahogany, you can't really get.
Yeah.
Now the species they're selling is sapele.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never used African mahogany. I know our supplier does sell it, but we
It's very
tend to buy
similar-
the.
It's very similar to mahogany.
Yeah.
It's got I think a more pinkish color.
Yeah.
It's a little harder too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We use a lot of sapele, which has a similar look. I'd say a little darker and definitely much harder.
Yeah.
Which it's nice to work with. You know, I could see mahogany for the workability because it is pretty soft,
Yeah. And it doesn't tear out a lot. It's
which
just
sapele will.
yeah.
Yes.
So you
Even
can
with
work hand
spiral.
tools.
Yeah, even spiral heads on the planer and the joiner, the sapele will
Yeah.
tear out. The grain reverses all over the place too.
What about you?
Well,
You'll ask.
I think I'm going with cherry.
Yeah.
Eastern,
You can't go wrong with cherry.
yeah, Eastern black cherry. It's
said
cheap.
that?
It's cheap. It's beautiful. It's easy to work with.
Didn't used to be so cheap.
Yeah,
No. It was very expensive.
that's another KBIS story. We hear from a lumber supplier there that the reason cherry prices fell so quickly and so drastically was because, you know, the Chinese cabinet manufacturers stopped buying it
Yep.
because cherry really fell out of style in the U.S. We have clients all the time that say, because we like to use cherry,
Yeah.
so we offer it to our clients a lot, and they say, "Oh, I don't like cherry," but everyone's only
They don't
seen,
know what it is.
you know, that pinkish red cherry kitchen. You know, it doesn't look like, I'm sitting on a cherry stool right now. It doesn't look anything like that.
Yeah.
No.
It's, you know, a nice honey brown, and it has streaks of darker brown and pink and gray. I mean, it's really nice
know,
stuff.
Most of the time, they've been sold something that might be maple. It might not even be a native species. It might be sort of like one of those Asian weed trees
Yeah.
with this reddish stain
Yeah,
on it.
it's the spray stain. They spray
And-
it on.
This is what most consumers have been led to believe is cherry.
Yeah, and we see the same thing with walnut and mahogany, where if you use a walnut stain, you
Yeah.
can call it walnut.
Yeah.
I mean, I see it a lot on like sort of Facebook Marketplace kind of things where people are refinishing furniture. You know, they'll say, "Oh, walnut
Yeah.
bookcase.
That's
but really,
not
it's
deceptive.
yeah, it's because they don't even know. You know, it's like a pine bookcase that someone stained with minwax walnut, so they call it walnut.
Is there a species called golden oak?
There might be.
I think it died out in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Got eradicated.
It's
Thanks.
all over the place.
Yeah,
Thankfully.
that's new old stock.
So it's up to you guys. What do you like to work with? Pine, poplar, basswood?
You finished the cherry story? I mean, I just kind of cut you off there.
No, yeah, I mean, it's great. It's easy to work. It's hard, but it's not too hard. Everything we get tends to have some nice curl in it. Usually, some cat's paws, which are little sections of knots. Where if you ever seen a patch of little leaves sprouting out of the side of a tree, you'll get something called a cat's paw underneath, which is like a little. It's hard to explain. Look it up. They call it in England. They call it pippy. There's pippy oak, pippy cherry.
Yeah.
It's a really nice feature on the wood. So, yeah, I like cherry. Cost effective, beautiful, native, to our area.
Yeah.
So
That'd definitely be my second choice.
yeah,
Okay.
but I like white oak a lot too. Quartered white oak.
Yeah, not me.
I haven't really worked with mahogany, so
I have too many 3-inch long white oak splinter
Yeah, that's
stories.
true.
yeah. I've had a couple.
See, that's another story.
Sapeli's really nice too, though. I like Sapeli a lot.
Yeah.
I like it when we got it quartered sapele.
Yeah, that's
It's
what
got
all
the
this
straight grain. If you get regular sapele, it can get really crazy
Yeah.
grain to it.
We have a big barn door sitting right here. Actually, my laptop, that's the camera and the audio is going to. We have a 41 by 90 inch right now barn door that's dry fit.
Yeah. Well, maybe down a little bit.
Yeah, nice. It's like 1 7/16 thick right now. So
All right.
Good. Now we move on to the viewer question of the week, and I'll leave that up to Jeff to ask the questions.
yeah, so we got here 4 or 5 good questions this week. So we'll get it started. This is from Tanner Hutchins, who is Tanner Hutchins 14 on Instagram. He says, "I'm new to woodworking. What tools would you recommend to get started?"
Rich?
Become an electrician.
It pays better.
Exactly.
They have a union.
Yeah, woodworking's a tough business. You gotta love to do it if you want to pursue it.
What
But
if
as
you
far
want
as
to
you-
just be a hobbyist?
If you're a hobbyist, then pick up a table saw, a bandsaw, a scroll saw, things like that to do hobby work, and then you can go on later on, pick up a joiner and a planer. You can get those portable planers that are really not that expensive. You can get one for about $300.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll handle most of your work. The table saw, you can get a nice little job site table saw. I might have trouble cutting some hardwoods, but for start out, it's good. But you know what? You can pick up, a lot of people are selling unisaws now, and you can get one pretty cheap. They're not really that expensive anymore.
No.
So you can pick up a used
and
table
we have
saw.
a unisaw here in the shop.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of pro shops use them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was the gold standard for a long time.
Yep.
And a couple of good sanders, because you need sanders, a router. Router, if you want to keep changing bits, you just get the one router that has the different collets, the 1/2 inch and the 1/4 inch collet. And if you grow from there. If you're doing jobs, you know what? Add that onto the job. Next job you do, say, I want to pick up another tool, so add a little bit onto the job so you can pick up another tool.
Yeah.
That's how I did it.
I think we all start
Yeah.
that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to add on to what Rich said and say you can't have enough clamps.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah. If you're watching and not listening, behind us is the wall where we have all our clamps, at least most of them. And we are fortunate enough to have a lot of, Bessie parallel clamps because that's what we invested in. They're probably, best bang for the buck as far as a parallel clamp.
Yeah.
And you can't have too many. It's a tried and true saying, but you're going to need to have clamps to hold your things together. And as we all started out individually, clamps are always going to be your third, fourth, and fifth hand. And
Yeah, use them for more than just clamping boards together.
oh yeah, and the other thing for your question, we'd probably want to have a couple of more bits of information to give you the best answer we could, because we don't know what your goals are, what your space is. I mean, maybe you live in an apartment in a city. Maybe you want to, concentrate on hand tools.
What your budget is.
Yeah. There's
What you
all
wanna
sorts
make.
of things. And the good news is, no matter what your situation, there's a solution for it and a way to get started and build skills. So thanks for joining us in the craft. Good luck. If you have more questions, we're here.
Yeah. I'd say something that's cheap and really, I bought it as a finished carpenter, but something that really changed a lot of what I did was the Gyakucho 372. That's a
You better explain that.
GYOKUCHO
Hi.
372. It's a Japanese pull saw. I think they refer to as their dovetail saw. So it'll cross cut, it'll rip. It has super fine teeth, very thin blade. I used to use it to cut shoe molding and stuff like that on punch lists where you don't want to break out the chop saw. So as a hobby, not even necessarily a hobbyist, but somebody that's just getting into woodworking, you can do a lot with a saw like that.
Yeah. Explain to folks what the difference is between the Japanese and the American handsaw.
Well, the main difference is that a Japanese saw cuts on the pull stroke and a Western saw cuts on the push stroke. So when you're pulling a saw through the work, the blade wants to self-straighten, which they say will help you cut a straighter line.
Yeah, because cutting to a line is a fundamental skill that we all should have.
Yeah, and even if you're a power tool woodworker, there's going to be a time where
That's right.
you're going to have to cut something by hand.
Also, maybe, again, for somebody who's just starting out, he might not even be aware of the difference in the physical layout, the appearance of the tool between a handsaw, where in America we're thinking this D handle and this big piece of steel on the end of it.
Yeah, a Japanese saw is made to be used with two hands, has a long handle, rectangular blade.
Yeah.
It is a back saw, so it has a spine.
So it's long and thin compared to,
Yeah, I mean, it's here. So probably, I don't know, 28 inches long, has a 10-inch blade.
really, really thin too.
And they're
blade.
cheap.
Yeah.
This is probably a $40 saw. Replaceable blade, so you just back this screw out, blade comes out, you put a new one in. They're not made to be resharpened. And super, super fine teeth.
Yeah.
So good for all kinds of cross cuts and rip cuts.
Yeah, they make a whole variety of saws,
Yeah.
for doing.
Yep, yeah, I got a couple back here.
Yeah. That's a good answer. There's a whole world of tools out there to explore if you get into that stuff.
Yeah, I'd say table saw is, if you're going to go power tool woodworking, invest in a good table saw. Find something used that's good, because you'll be spending a lot of time on that.
It'll do everything that you need it to.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Well, that was a good question, Tana. I hope give us some feedback. We'd like a little bit more what you're trying to do, and maybe we can help you out even further.
Yeah, shoot us a message. We'll answer any questions that you have.
All right. What's next up? Jack Thornton.
Yeah, so we got a question here from Jack Thornton, Jack Thornton 98 on Instagram. I think he's out in Australia. I'm not sure.
Hey, mate.
If you leave a question
Don't say
on Instagram, give us your name and your location, so we can tell everybody where you're from, because I can't always find out from looking at your profile. So Jack says, do you have a future business plan to grow or maintain current production size? If so, what is the next big step towards growth?
That's a good question. It's a good question for us.
It's a good question for, I think, the younger partners in the business. Do I? Well, I don't mean it
I
to
don't
be.
think I'm included.
No,
in
you
the
got
younger
to understand what I'm trying to say is that right now I'm not thinking, yes, so I want the business to grow. Yes, I do. Will I see it within my lifetime? Not that I'm going to pass away, but I'm getting old. I want to start to retire soon. But
You want to enjoy that pension that's waiting at home.
exactly.
No pension here, sorry.
So for me, I'm not looking to that future. If what the next step is towards growth, that depends. I mean, right now, with the COVID-19 crap that's going on right now, businesses are so screwed up. Customers are screwed up. They don't know what they want. They don't want you in the house. So it's hard to say what growth's going to be like over the next year. Hopefully it's going to pick up. Not hopefully. I believe it's going to pick up. But I don't know what even if the question as far as maintaining current production size, I think we do fairly well for what we have right now.
Yeah.
If we got a real big job, we might have to look into expanding the shop, but I don't see it happening in the next year or two.
Yeah.
And so I don't, I'm sorry guys, I don't plan on being around.
Well, you might be able to fast track it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see in maybe 10 years, having some employees and being able to teach some people, how to be a woodworker and have a company that treats the employees well. I look to sort of like Thomas Moser, places like that, where they build a very high quality product and they employ people gainfully, because most of the, cabinet type production that's going on and furniture is low wage, just grunt sort of grunt work. So I'd love to see that. I think the biggest step would just to be that busy. I mean, we're not turning away work like crazy where we need to bring someone in. Bringing in an employee is a big step for a company.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a lot simpler when it's just 3 partners or one guy, whatever. We're not paying the insurance and taxes and everything that's associated with having an employee. Not to mention you have to manage an employee. You have to make sure that they're doing their job properly. You have to train them, which takes you away from what you're doing. You have to make sure that you find someone you can trust. So it's definitely a big step. I hope that one day we're that busy where we can bring some people in. But
it's a good question, not just for us, but for any small business, because that's where a lot of small businesses fail, is growing improperly, growing too fast, not making the right decisions in, investment, whether that's in, tooling, infrastructure, leasing a building. So we have any future plans to grow? I would say for the near future, we're, as Rich alluded to, we're just looking to maintain where we are during this crisis. And fortunately we have, and I'm expecting there to be a bit of a mini boom by the time this really starts to ebb a bit. Maybe
that'd be nice.
The next summer, probably 2021 summer. That's a good time of year as well for our business. So maintain current production size. That's kind of the same thing.
I mean, I think if you have a business and you don't have a plan to grow, then the idea of a business is to progress and grow.
Right.
Am I right? I mean,
even though we haven't physically been growing, we do evolve.
Growth isn't necessarily growing the size of the company, but
like just doing this podcast.
Oh yeah,
right. Reinvesting
exactly
in the company. I mean, hey, we could pay ourselves a lot more if we didn't upgrade. I mean, we're constantly upgrading the shop. Yeah. I mean, it's important. That's growing the company.
Yeah.
Because the next job is going to be 2% easier.
Yeah.
Then the next job after that's going to be 2% easier.
The company's healthy and we're healthy. So we tend to take it, a day, a week at a time. We do talk about it all the time. So I think that's important. We may not have anything formalized, but it's certainly on our minds all the time. What can we do to be better? And if that involves growing, if that involves changing, that's always something for us, and we look at it as an opportunity.
Yeah, you have to be flexible. And
So any of you guys out there want to take my spot, send me your resume. And for a small fee,
we have a waiting list.
For a small fee, I'll see if I can.
There literally is a waiting list.
You telling me something now?
Oh, we hear it all the time. People show up and they say, "Oh man, I wish I could work here."
Yeah, they usually ask how old Rich is.
Yeah. I'm ready to be pushed out the door. Good to have friends, isn't it?
Big shoes to fill.
So what this next question really comes. I mean,
yeah.
this has been a very unusual bit of interest. For us.
I'll let you take this one because
All right.
this is your department.
Well, the question from Makovian, who's known as Quarter Song Weekend on Instagram, he asks, "What's your favorite Afrobeat track?" Which
So we get these.
Yeah.
I get this question from time to time because I'll post stories on Instagram, and people hear the Afrobeat music in the background, and surprisingly enough, I've had a bunch of people reach out and and comment, which I didn't even know what Afrobeat was until I met Rob. So there's a lot of Afrobeat that plays in the shop.
yeah, we have Pandora on a channel that circulates. We got Clutch and some typical rock and roll, a lot of Afrobeat, a lot of soul, R&B. Once in a while, one of Rich's tunes by Brett will come on, and if he's not around, we'll skip it. So for the uninitiated, Afrobeat, what is it? It's a mixture of West African, primarily Nigerian, indigenous music mixed with American funk, soul, R&B type of grooves. Everybody knows who James Brown is. He's the godfather of soul.
JB.
Yeah, and so his equivalent, his equal in every sense would be Fela Kuti, who's he's passed now, but he's Nigerian and he's the godfather, the father, and the son of Afrobeat. And he's got a great message. Afrobeat's filled with a lot of political message. At least it was, when it started out.
Pretty apropos.
Yes, and so it's pretty timely music. My favorite track by Fela Kuti would be the Kalakuta Show, and I know. Well, you could look it up. And a band called Afro Diz does it's a remake. It's a slightly different, and it's really powerful. And for whatever reason, they call it the Kalaruta Show with an R instead of a second K. I advise everybody to check that out. Afro Diz plays Kalaruta Show, and the father Fela Kalakuta Show. So Jeff may have one.
Yeah,
now.
I mean, I'd say that I'm not an Afrobeat buff by any means.
No. Because we hear it a lot.
Yeah, I hear a good bit here, and I have some Fela Kuti on my phone.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Just Like That.
Yeah.
Shout out to our buddy Manny.
Just Like That.
Yeah.
Just Like That by Fela Kuti.
Goli sings too in the song, Just Like That.
It's about I'm going to say, 18-minute long song. It's a good one, though.
Yeah, that's the other thing. A lot
It'll
of
get in
these
your
songs are very, very long.
Yeah.
Could be 20-minute long.
Yeah. I mean, Just Like That will be in your head for the entire day.
Well, it's in my head right now.
Just like that.
You got anything to add there, Rich?
No, you lost me on when you started with Afrobeat because I wasn't even paying attention to what the hell you were saying. It's I listen to anything that's being played in the shop.
Rich is a good sport.
You can't complain. I like different type of music and all that. I mean, I laugh when I got to hear this 20-minute song about who shot his mama.
They pushed her out a window. Let's get the story straight.
True story, yes.
And Just Like That. So we kind of joke about it.
Or when we run over and crank up like a Rage Against the Machine song.
Yeah. Get a lot of Rage Against the Machine.
Tool.
A lot of Tool. James Brown. Steely Dan. What else? The Bread comes on. What were the songs that came on yesterday?
Oh, there was Jim Croce and Loggins and Messina. Rich happened to be out of the shop. We were like, what?
It was like a block of 6 songs came on.
And I'm in the shop. I hear the Afrobeat.
Yeah. It really brought us down, didn't it?
Rage Against the Machine at 11.
Yeah, we do have a really loud sound system.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. For a small shop, I mean, it's...
the windows will pump.
Yeah, it's more than some like bars have that have live music.
So, hey, I want to especially thank Makovian for that.
And what's
question.
your favorite Afrobeat song?
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah.
Send us something that'll, turn us on to some new tunes.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll be long.
Actually, another one of my favorites is that Ikebe Shakedown.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
band. That's
yeah.
like an instrumental sort of Afrobeat fusion kind of band.
Yeah, there are a lot of younger bands that influenced by Afrobeat that play sort of like a neo version of it, and they're great. They're great.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of those newer bands that are playing music influenced by sort of older stuff, because I like the high fidelity kind of audio, stuff like that.
I have no more comments.
We could do a whole podcast on Afro.
That's right. At least we didn't bring Guinness to the party this
That's
time.
true.
yeah.
That's true.
All right, we got this next one. This is from our buddy Tim. He's in New Jersey too, down South Jersey. True Trade Carpentry on Instagram. He does amazing work, so check him out. He asks, how do you start? Oh, wait.
You skipped one.
Sorry. I have these questions. They're squished together. Tim was the last question, but we'll skip to him now. He says, why are you here? He's referencing Instagram. Just for the likes, or are you here to network? From Tim. Well, you guys aren't really... I mean, you guys are on Instagram, but not heavily like me.
We're
So
not
I don't know if
into
you
it for
guys
the
can
likes.
weigh in.
I sure can. Yes, I can.
Say
I like it.
You're in for the likes?
Oh, yeah. I'm in for the likes.
Yeah.
I would say I'm in for the chicks, but I can't.
Well, who's
Well,
that
I wouldn't have a fat pension to fall back on.
Yeah.
But no, it's nice that you get recognition from what you do, whether it's pictures, whether it's the podcast. It's nice that people like what we do. And we don't do it just for the likes. No, I do it for the T-shirts, but I haven't gotten any
How's
T-shirts
that working
yet.
out for you? You got one from U.S. Abrasives, but we had to buy like $300 worth of sandpaper for that.
Yeah, that
But
doesn't
we
count.
are
That's
here.
a lot of sandpaper.
We are here to network.
Yeah.
We're here to give people a little bit of knowledge of what it's like to run a small cabinet shop. And I think we're having a good time. We're definitely having a good time doing it. I'm having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I'm getting to learn how to use Instagram and all that other fancy
You're doing
social
better than
media
Rob.
stuff.
Yeah,
That's
I
for damn
fell off.
sure.
I fell off the branch. Jeff urged me to get involved. I even put the app on my phone and everything like that. But I just found I didn't have anything to say.
That's pretty funny.
It is. But I
It's out of
think
character.
I think I overthought it
Yeah.
more than anything. Really, I'm in it completely for networking.
Yeah.
Just to put our name out there. Because there's really no better place right now than being on social media as far as getting the word out about who you are and what you do, for better or worse.
Yeah. I mean, if there is, I have no idea what it is because
Yeah, and I'll tell you this, before I started trying to do it, I didn't realize how much work it is. Now, Jeff, before he speaks about it, I'll just say for Rich and I, we are quite thankful that we have him on board to do this because it's a tremendous amount of work. And that's one of the beauties of having, the three of us and the varied skill set. Like one of the things that I'll do is I'll carve out the initial design of something. A client will, there's a sketch on a napkin, even a designer, they're pretty primitive most of the time. And I'll bust it out in SketchUp just so we could get an idea what it is, and then we can kind of discuss what kind of cost is attached to the job. So that's kind of my thing. And Jeff's definitely, he handles all the technical stuff for the podcast,
And the purchasing. And
all the Instagram stuff, and we try and pitch in, but it's really his thing. He's responsible for getting our name out there.
I go to the store a lot.
Yeah,
Pick up lunch, pick up pretzels, peanuts.
Rich is the runner, that's for sure.
you like going to Home Depot.
Yeah.
I like to socialize. What can I
That's the
tell
other
you?
thing. Jeff and I, you can't pay us to leave the
Yeah,
shop.
no.
You just can't.
Don't even try me on the weekend because I'm not going anywhere. I'm
I have to get some air.
Not me. This is
we
about
don't
as much
go-
air as I can get.
We don't go anywhere.
2 miles to the shop and 2 miles home.
We went to see, we had to go look at something at 6:00 the other night.
Oh yeah.
And So I could tell Jeff didn't want to go. So I said, I'll go with you. He said, you're going to go somewhere at 6 o'clock?
Yeah, unless it's band practice.
Yeah,
I'm assuming you're staying home.
That's the truth. That's really how it goes.
I'm the same way. After work, I give it 100% at work every day. I don't have anything left when I get home.
Yeah, yeah.
I sat down with the computer last night to edit the little video I put up last night, and I mean my eyes are glazing over. It's only 7:30 at night. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
No, working the computer this morning. I did the flyer, and it wears you out in a different kind of way. We're used to physical work. We're used to standing. We're used to lifting and bending and all that stuff. Sitting in one spot is rough on us.
Yeah, the mental work is more of a it's more of a stress than building something.
We should add that Rich does all of our books. He keeps the records for everything, which is another super time-consuming thing.
Yeah.
Jeff and I were here. We were looking for something. It's like, maybe it's in that file. We opened the file. It's like 2 feet deep with all these records. And he's like, did you know we did all this?
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Everything's a lot of work. So back, all the way around to this, if you're done, we could segue into the last question.
Oh, well, yeah. No, I didn't even talk about what I'm here for.
Yeah.
So I'll say...
The chicks.
No. I think I first got into Instagram because there was like a lot of giveaways and stuff. Now, this is going back probably...
I remember that.
And you were always winning, too.
Yeah, 3 or 4 years. I won a bunch of stuff. I won Toolaholics, like 40,000 giveaway. Won the Festival Domino. I mean, a bunch of T-shirts, stuff like that. I won a pair of boots from Fibafuse, the drywall company.
He was always coming in with something.
So, I won a bunch of stuff. So I think that's why I originally got in. This like predates Greene Street by years. And then when I started Greene Street, first I started Rob's page when Rob got laid off. Is that what we're calling it?
Yeah,
from Tom's.
That was sort of like a preface to us.
Yeah. So I started it for Barone Woodwork, and which then that account just changed names over to Greene Street. So no, at that point I wasn't in it for likes. I was in it for networking. When we started this company, I must have cold messaged well over 1,000 designers, builders, architects.
Yeah.
And I don't think we got any work out of it.
No. We got a few bids, but
at least people started to know who we were. So I got in it for Greene Street for networking with clients. Now we use it for networking with other furniture makers, cabinet makers. I know some of you are listening right now. I've reached out to for advice. You've reached out to us. We had a situation where, what was it with the slides? We wanted to use the tip-on, are they called? The bloom slides that you push and they open up. But we make 3/4-inch drawer boxes. Well, they don't make the tip-on attachment for 3/4-inch drawer boxes. So
we didn't know that.
I pose a question on Instagram. Yeah. I get feedback from 3-4 guys about how to fix the problem. So it's a great resource. Yeah. And that's what Tim's getting at, because he, I think it was in regards to the TS75 he just bought. He was asking a bunch of guys their opinion, and it's a great resource to get information. Guys like Tanner, you're just getting into woodworking. Reach out to some of those big accounts that you follow and ask. Yeah. Most of the times people are very receptive, and
there's no such thing as a stupid question.
No, just stupid
don't
people.
Be afraid. Yeah, exactly. Don't be afraid to ask anything. I do it all the time.
There's usually at least one nice guy or girl at one of these accounts that will treat you, with some respect.
And you reach out to accounts that have 200, 300,000 plus followers. They'll get back to you. A lot of times they do.
Yeah.
And if they don't, well, then maybe they're not worth following.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're in it for the networking.
Yeah.
The likes are nice too. But
plus we got a lot of business from Instagram. I mean, that's bulk of our business coming in now.
Yeah.
Has been from
It's definitely
Instagram.
shifted. It used to be people would find you on the web. It'd be sort of like the old phone book, so to speak, for those old enough to remember.
And look,
what
they
that
see
was.
your truck passing by and they remember the name of the company on the truck. But that's You don't see that anymore.
No.
Yeah, I mean, looking at our Google Analytics, we get a couple dozen, well, maybe more, less than 100, I'd say, web.
It's like a cold hit, yeah.
Or a direct search, but from like Google itself, we're getting probably about 100 people a month going directly to the website from Google or to our Google listing where they can get the phone number, the address, all that stuff. But Instagram allows you to reach people all over the place.
Yeah.
You can reach them versus them trying to reach
Yeah.
you.
It's great. It gives us a voice.
And it's free for the most part.
Yeah.
You have to put in the work.
Yeah. Good question.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good question.
Yeah, pull that answer up into the last question there because it kind of fits, right?
Yeah, a little bit. This is from Nathan. He's stock.woods on Instagram. How do you start a cabinet business with little to no experience? Now, that's a pretty vague question because we don't really know what your goals are and what your experience level is, or if this is just a broad question, just picking our
You
minds.
need to define experience.
Business experience or
business
woodwork?
experience, woodworking experience.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say that if you have no cabinet experience, then no, you shouldn't try and start a business. I'd
Yes.
say that you need to go out and find a job in the industry and gain some
Yes.
experience.
Especially if you're young, you can find a job in some cabinet shops. You'll be the bottom man on the totem pole, but you'll gain some good experience, and you'll be in companies where you'll learn something, and you'll be in companies where you're not going to learn a damn thing, and those are the companies you leave and go on to the next one.
You learn
So,
what
yeah.
you don't like sometimes,
Exactly.
too.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the way I try to approach everything is you go somewhere, you learn everything you can. When you're not learning anything else, you move on to somewhere else. And that's how you progress up the ladders. You need to keep learning. So the biggest, basically, let's answer this as what can you do to prepare yourself to start a cabinet business? Keep learning. Learn everything that you can and try and do as much of it as you can.
And nowadays, it's so available.
Oh yeah, YouTube. There's so much stuff.
When Rich and I started, it was like a library card, and I'm serious.
Yeah.
A library card and watching Norm Abrams build a bookcase on New Yankee Workshop. And that was back when it was, a very low key kind of show.
Mm-hmm.
And I would literally buy the tool that he used because I didn't know any better. I said, well, if he can do it with that tool, and if I'm looking for a router, well, then that's the one I'm going to get because...
That's before,
Yeah.
paid sponsorships.
Yes.
And
This was still PBS.
right. Norm was saying that because he believed it. He wasn't saying it because they sent, because Ryobi sent him a free router. He wasn't
No,
saying
they would
Yeah.
even have black tape and
Yeah,
things
yeah.
like that over the labels.
Yep.
They weren't sponsored. The only sponsor they had in the old days was Delta.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Yeah.
And
So be wary of what sort of information you're consuming because you need to make
Yeah.
sure it's coming from someone that's genuine.
yeah, and I actually met Norm, and he's more genuine than you might even imagine someone could be. He's super guy.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I'll pitch in a few cents worth too as well. If you're trying to start a business that you don't have any experience in, that sounds pretty risky to begin with. And then, a cabinet business, if you're talking about something that's similar to what we do, which is actually designing and building, that requires, skill set that these guys were talking about building. If you mean a cabinet business where you open a showroom and sell things, that's sort of like a retail business.
Right.
I'm assuming you don't mean that. There's no shortcut. There's just no shortcut. Rich, how long you been doing this?
I've been doing it a long time. I mean,
Yeah.
when I first started out, I used to just build shelves and little knick-knack type of furniture. Then I used to go to craft shows. And
Yeah.
that's the way I got started.
I was gonna say, Nathan, if let's say you have a 9 to 5 and you've done some stuff around the house or you do woodworking as a hobby and you want to start a business, well, now is the time to start preparing yourself by, actively making things and selling them and practicing that's the way you build yourself up to start a business. Is
Yeah.
don't leave your day job
exactly.
and dive head first, because it's a bad idea.
Yeah.
Even with the immense skill set that we have, it's still not an easy business.
No, you're right.
And an extremely well-equipped shop, good suppliers where we can get material for a fair price, a good list of clients. I mean, it's not easy.
and a lot of support outside the company. We
Yeah.
know a lot of people that could help us out in a pinch, whether that's putting on a finish or welding something for us. We had to call out to get some things CNC'd,
Yep.
that artwork. But because that's something that everybody should do.
Yeah, Timber Talent on Instagram, guy
Yeah.
kind of down by Rich and Manasquan, did some CNC work for us.
So did we answer, or did we just sort of say you're crazy, Nathan?
Yeah, I'd say how to is to you got to grow yourself to the point of it being financially viable.
Yeah. So there's the two sides of it. I mean, to be financially viable, he does have to have certain skill set and then be able to market that skill set.
Yeah. Or you got a wife with a fat pension at home, Nathan?
Exactly.
Then-
That would help.
Go for it.
That was the answer we were really looking for in Rich's origin story.
I don't want to get in trouble with my wife anymore.
I tell you, I'll just a little quick bit of sunshine, a little ray of hope for you, Nathan. That's almost the way I started, just by default. I moved out here to New Jersey 20 years ago. I had probably a 20-year-long history as a hobbyist, but never ever thought about starting a business because it seemed quite unimaginable to be able to do it. But I was a school teacher, and it was summer. I was in between jobs, and I was in the middle of our house here is about 120 years old. I was in the midst of fixing things up, and I said, you know what? I got tools. I got the space. I'm just going to put a sign in my front yard.
And lo and behold,
That was almost 20 years ago. I'll say that although I lacked business experience and real professional woodworking experience, that I had to push myself daily as a challenge, what I did have was a big boost in the design department. You know, I was an artist. I had a background in architecture and design. So that enabled me to, win jobs. So maybe you have some kind of hook there, Nathan, besides woodworking.
Yeah, I'd say take it on as a side gig until you're too busy that you can't handle it, and then think about making the move if that's what you really want to do.
Yeah.
But weigh the options, because some people like to do things as a hobby, and then it's not for
not
you
that
necessarily as a
glamorous.
career. Yeah.
You have to build things sometimes that, you wouldn't necessarily like to put in your own home or.
Right. Yeah. You guys know the line, oh, it's his passion. His passion is cabinet making. I said, it's an inside story. I can't explain the whole thing, but just because you're passionate about doing this doesn't mean that it's necessarily right for you. So you really got to think about it.
Or that you're capable.
Right.
so good luck.
Yeah, good luck, Nathan.
Yeah.
Let us keep in touch with us. Let us
Yeah,
know
let us
how
know
it's
how it
going.
Yeah, if you have more specifics, let us know. We'll definitely answer.
All right.
Well, that leaves
That
us
brings
to the closing. I mean, the thoughts on the beer of the week.
Yeah.
And so
We're almost time to say goodbye.
yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
I'm getting a little sad about that.
it's
So-
getting hot in here, so I'm
Yeah.
Yeah,
kinda
turn the
hot.
air conditioner back on.
It's the Allagash White
Well, you-
Belgian-Style
you-
wheat beer. What
It was
do
good.
you think, guys?
You last.
I'm last.
Shush.
Good beer. Great for a day like today. It was pretty warm for October.
Yeah.
We were kind of sweating out there during lunch.
And we have to turn the AC off for the cast.
Yeah, because you get all that noise in the background. I noticed we all finished like about halfway through, so I think everybody liked
That's the
it.
first time, I think.
It's good. I'm not the biggest fan of wheat beers, but it was good. I like it.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I really think this would make a great T-shirt too.
Yeah.
Just saying. And I'm not, again, where I come from, I'm used to just the old-fashioned beers. But every once in a while, I like to splurge. And this wasn't that bad at all. I'd have this again
Yeah.
with a good pretzel.
Yeah. This was right up my alley.
It's a good cooking beer.
Yeah, it was very crisp, I thought. On the label here, it says has some citrus and spice, specifically coriander and curacao orange peel.
Yeah, it's very traditional, and that's the style of beer.
It wasn't overpowering at all. It seemed...
So this is like, if you've ever had Blue Moon, this is like a not bad version of that.
Yeah.
Blue Moon is like a knockoff of this, or this is like an American interpretation of a Belgian.
I thought
like
it was
it says,
pretty
Belgian-style
good.
beer.
In fact, I thought it was real good.
Yeah.
Allagash, white Belgian-style wheat beer.
Yep.
I think we're going to have to start buying 6-packs instead of 4-packs.
Yeah.
And it becomes a 4. we gotta
Just
get
saying.
an 8.
So what? 3 thumbs up for the Allagash?
Yes, I'll give it a thumbs up. Again,
right.
I the shirts would be beautiful.
I don't even know if they've got any social media.
Oh yeah, they do. Allagash is a big. It's a
Oh,
big
yeah,
beer.
come on, Allagash. Give us a break.
Allagash.com. Maybe you're out there listening.
Yeah, we put a link in the description of the YouTube
Exactly.
page.
All right. So I guess that's it. Our closing remarks.
Will we have anything to do with the giveaway? Are we going to go over that today? Or
Well,
we can
yeah,
save
you know
that?
what? We'll talk about it.
We're having a little giveaway, and Jeff's reaching out there. We went through our tools, like he said. We've outgrown some of the things. We've just sort of pulled out some stuff, and
Hey, that's my tool.
no, that's mine. These are things that we used up until just recently, so they're strong tools, and we
So
want to give
Nathan,
away
there's
something.
there's a start for you there.
Yeah. Stacking it up. It's like a Christmas morning over here. For those out on the airwaves, just on the audio, we got a bench plane, block plane.
Fork chisels.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we
Furniture.
haven't cleaned any of this up. It's all dusty, but we'll blow everything off and make sure they're in working order, which they are. We've been using them. We have English made Stanley No. 4 with the lacewood handle. You might have seen I made for that. A record English made block plane. We have the set of 4 Stanley Sweetheart 750s. Card scraper with a burnisher. We have a Veritas Mark 1 honing guide. The DMT Diamond. I guess they call it medium fine and extra fine and coarse stone. And I have the little holder for the stones over there. We might find some other stuff that we have
But that's
throw in there. But
definitely the foundation of it.
yeah.
4 chisels, 2 planes, sharpening system.
So
this
how's
is-
this giveaway going to work? How's this?
Well, that I haven't actually decided.
Okay.
Yeah. But this is...
Shirts would help.
If you have
Saying
shirts, you
can
don't
be
need
bribed?
No, I'm not saying that.
We'll probably do something. We'll announce next week how to enter, but
Yes,
it'll be something.
everything will be legit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
via Instagram.
So we're gonna have a drawing, is what you're saying.
Yeah, you'll
Yeah, something
enter,
like
and
that.
then we'll pick. We'll randomly pick the winner.
All right, so it's gonna be a random drawing
Yeah.
from those that enter. Next week.
We'll cover shipping in the U.S., but if you're international, you want to enter, we'll have to see what the shipping is. Maybe you cover the shipping, and
Yeah.
because it's pretty heavy, it's gonna get expensive.
Knowing us, there'll be several other items
Yeah.
added in. We're pretty nice.
Yeah,
folks.
so I don't want to close it off to international people.
No,
I
definitely
know,
not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know a lot of giveaways are for the lower 48 only, but we'll keep it open and we'll talk about working out shipping with
Yeah.
somebody if they win.
Yeah, that's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool. And yeah, we've been using this stuff. I mean, I pulled that right out of my
Yeah.
bench. I haven't even gotten a replacement for my little bench plane, my little block plane.
I haven't even set up all of my new chisels since I retired those.
Yeah,
So
so
that's a brand new burnisher. We got that to go with the card scraper. So
yeah.
that way you can actually set up your scraper on the stones, burnish it, you'll be good to go. That's another great tool for a beginner. So Tanner, get a scraper and a burnisher and learn how to use it.
Yeah, we use those.
You can
every day.
You can set them up with a file if you don't have stones.
Yeah.
It's not ideal, but
Yeah, that's how I usually do it. Quick and dirty file.
Down and dirty.
Yeah, because I'm scraping glue and just kind of.
yeah,
But all right.
yeah.
Okay, that's it for the 5th podcast. I hope you guys had a good time listening to us, and hope we answered your questions and give us your feedback.
Yeah. Tune in next week.
For another
on
exciting
YouTube.
show. Yeah. And you sponsors out there. Come on.
Come on, somebody send something. Shut this guy up.
Yeah. Send something to Rich, for God's sake.
Not just for me.
Yeah, and if you have questions, don't wait for us to ask. You can you'll send them over
Yeah,
whenever.
send 'em
Yeah.
over.
Don't wait till Wednesday morning or Tuesday night.
Yeah.
And don't be shy. If you want to remain anonymous, just let us know.
Yes.
No
All right.
question is too stupid.
Take care. Be well out
Take
there.
care.
Five